Taiwan's role as a key economic partner for Japan is growing as tensions with China put pressure on trade and supply chains across Asia. Now, Tokyo is trying to de-risk without decoupling from Beijing, and that's opening new opportunities for Taiwan, especially when it comes to cooperation in semiconductors, advanced manufacturing, and technology. Now, to understand how economies are shifting across the region and what that means for Taiwan, we are joined once again by Professor Tsai Hsi-Hsun from the Graduate Institute of Japanese Political and Economic Studies at Tamkang University in New Taipei City, and Akira Igata, project lecturer at the Research Center for Advanced Science and Technology at the University of Tokyo. Now, this is something both of you have been talking quite a bit about. So I'm going to put this question to both of you, and I'll start with you, Hsi-Hsun. From Tokyo's policy and technology perspective, how seriously is Japan preparing for long-term deterioration of relations with China? And is their current economic policy driven more by security concerns than economics?
Japan and China relation will based on the history because when one country is strong, one country is weak, they will be stable. But now two countries was strong. Now they are strong, so they will be unstable. But how about the economy? I think according to the Japanese government policy or their language is called economic pressure. So China is going to use their trade and it, of course, include the tourism to pressure the Japan. But how about the relation? The economic policy, I think Japan will say one key word. Recently, they create one job cabinet. It's called, how to say this one, economic security cabinet. And of course, to the security one will be, I think, two big ones. The first one will be semiconductor. The second one will be the rare earth. So it's a good opportunity for Japan to find and do the rare earth by themselves. Of course, another one is the semiconductor. Now we also import a lot of equipment, even semiconductor. Our TSMC is number one in the whole world for the manufacturing, but the equipment, Japan equipment is really good.
I do want to talk about all the points you made in more detail as we go on in this discussion. So before that, let me jump over to Akira and ask you the same question. How seriously is Japan preparing its economy for deterioration of relations with China, given the fact that, as you said now, Japan is definitely putting its defense priorities far more into the center?
So I have been part of various discussions within the academia, in the media, within the experts in Japan. And I think there is a consensus that this spat between Japan and China is not going to end in days or weeks. It's going to be months, if not years. And Japanese government, the Japanese businesses, we have been prepared for this. Right? We have an economic security minister, as the professor has just mentioned. We have economic security divisions within different government ministries. Even the Japanese companies have economic security divisions to make sure that they can understand how they can diversify their important supply chains and to make themselves more resilient. So I think we're prepared.
Okay, then Hsi-Hsun, to pick up from where you left off, Japan and Taiwan are, of course, closely linked in high-tech manufacturing, especially semiconductors, as you mentioned. If tensions rise across the Taiwan Straits or across the straits between China and Taiwan, how exposed is Japan?
Japan is not alone. Japan defense is the Taiwan defense. It's Japan's policy, so we must say it. The first island. Even we have the pressure or the tension with the mainland China, Tsai Hsi-Hsun Prime Minister already said it. On the first stage, Taiwan issue, it could be the Japan issue. Taiwan insurance will be Japan insurance. Our tension with the mainland China is already the Japan tension with the mainland China. And we can see a couple of days ago, one four-star journal, his name is called Iwasaki, Iwasaki Shigeru, mainland China put the verdicts on him, push him, don't help Taiwan. So Taiwan and Japan, we stand together.
All right. Given that, though, Akira, a recent Japanese corporate survey show that strained Sino-Japanese ties are a top concern for companies looking ahead in 2026. So, in your view, can Japan really de-risk without decoupling, saying that make China resilient supply chains, given that China is, as we mentioned, Japan's current largest trading partner?
No, for sure. I mean, 20% of our imports and exports, roughly speaking, are with China. There are big neighbors, and we can't move houses in geopolitics, right? We have to deal with China for sure. But the thing is that, once again, we don't have to decouple our whole economy. What the Japanese government has been doing to identify these strategic areas where it's so important for Japanese economy that for those areas, we are going to start de-risking. That's why the Japanese government now has a new law called ESPA, Economic Security Promotion Act, where the government would subsidize the Japanese companies interested in diversifying away from certain countries so that they can be less reliant on a single source for their supply chains if they are part of the strategic goods that the Japanese government has identified. And there are about a dozen areas of strategic goods, from semiconductors to batteries to fertilizers, permanent magnets, liquefied natural gas, ranging from various issues of critical technologies to energy security to food security. So our policy, I think, has been very comprehensive. And I think that, yes, if we can continue doing business with China, that's great. But if the current situation continues, then the Japanese government and the businesses are flexible enough to make sure that we can find other markets and other supply chains.
Right. So, Akira, given that Taiwan is helping or lending a hand with raising Japan's semiconductor industry to the more advanced chips, how do you think that's going to change Japan's semiconductor landscape, and what impact is that going to have on its economy? Or would it? Or is it just a very small part of trying to diversify?
No, I would say it's already having great impact. You're seeing not just factories in the Kyushu area, you're starting to see this ecosystem form, because if you have fabs, you need other companies to make sure that they support that production. You now have this consortia between universities in both Japan and Taiwan to make sure that we can train the next generation of engineers. And on top of that, semiconductors are just hardware, but now increasingly there's more cooperation on the software side, and that's also critically important, right? Who is going to be creating artificial intelligence? Who's going to be writing a trustful AI system and algorithm? And I think there's a lot of new cooperation going on between venture capitals and startups in Taiwan, who's now working with Japanese companies on AI development as well. So I really think that Japan and Taiwan can cooperate on both the hardware of semiconductors and software of AI, two critical technologies that's going to change the world.
Hsi-Hsun, as we wrap up this segment too, Japan was very much a success story over decades. Its rising economy, everything, all signs pointed to Japan, being at the top of, the world's top economy. We're seeing Taiwan go through a similar growth, and a very spectacular growth. Hsi-Hsun, what would the takeaway be, given now that we've seen how Japan's economy then languished for decades after? What should be Taiwan's takeaway from Japan's economic story?
Well, I will say one key number. We went to Japan for 2024, 6 million. Our population only 23 million. 6 million went to Japan because of Japan society, because of the technology, not only for the advanced technology, also for this society. You can see Japan use the advanced technology, create a good society, good public transportation, and good so many good things. That's why we went there. So I must say, technology not only for the advanced, not only for the semiconductor. That's why we still have so much software. We must learn the software, not only the computer software about the society, culture. We must learn it from Japan. So many people just go there to buy something, to enjoy, and to learn their good thing. Even you can see my background. I for this background from Japan. Even my clothes from Japan, my shirt from Japan.
And you do look great. Akira, same question. Japan had a spectacular economic rise, then went through immense pain for a while and is now getting back to the growth story. Given Taiwan's current economic situation, where we are also seeing that kind of meteoric rise for its economy, what is the key takeaway that Taiwan should take from Japan's story?
No, I think Taiwan is doing great, right? Despite the fact that it's in a geopolitical situation which is hard for any leaders to pursue and control. The Taiwanese semiconductor industry has been doing fantastic. It's seen as the crown jewels of world critical technologies. 90%, 92% of advanced chips are being made in Taiwan, and that makes Taiwan an indispensable part of the ecosystem of any type of manufacturing these days. So I would just say that Taiwan should keep on pushing.